Hi Taste Buds, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Today I'm all about the sandwich, the perfect meal on the go, today here on SoFlo Taste.
This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida.
And the people who love it.
Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste.
Good morning and welcome to SoFlo Taste in our kitchen here at J World in Coconut Creek. The sandwich. Invented so in 18th century, card-playing Earl wouldn't grease up the cards with his food-drenched fingers. Well, that's what they say. Whatever. It was then and it's still now a great idea. So today I thought it would be fun to get out the bread and make some sandwiches for you. Some really good sandwiches for you. So let's get cooking. The first sandwich I wanted to make is pan con beefsteak. A Cuban steak sandwich, something that I grew up with. So I thought I'd give you my little version of the steak sandwich. The first thing you do is take a skirt steak, and I'm just gonna pound it ever so slightly, mainly to tenderize, not so much to flatten. So I have it here between two pieces of basically plastic, closing bags, and slightly pound both sides. So, to give it a little bit of flavor, I brought something that I grew up with. I had to bring sazón completa. Sazón completa means complete seasoning, and it's a very Latin tradition. And to me, the steak goes so much further with a little bit of this on it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of sazón on both sides. It smells like garlic and oregano. I don't know, this stuff is delicious. I brought some Cuban bread along. Had to bring the Cuban bread, so we're gonna press the sandwich with the Cuban bread. Some sliced manchego cheese. You can find beautiful manchego cheese pretty much anywhere in South Florida, and I've cut it a little bit on the thin side to just barely start to melt. Shredded lettuce, always iceberg, is the best for shredded lettuce. Roasted jalapeno peppers. These you can roast either on a grill, in an oven at 450 to 500 degrees, or in one of these burners, get it all charred up and steam it in a little plastic wrap, and then the peel comes right off. And I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple of these and cut them up. Finally, I've got some red onions that I like to cook. You can cook these a couple days ahead if you'd like to. Just cooked in a little bit of olive oil. Not a big deal until they just soften up a little bit. So a lot of steak sandwiches get some kind of a crunchy potato. So I've brought some potato chips for you to put into that sandwich. And oh goodness, I can't forget this one. My favorite mayonnaise. Get your favorite mayonnaise out. I brought my favorite mayonnaise. This one is a Japanese mayonnaise, and it's called Kewpie. I'm sure you can find this online or pretty much at any Asian market. Stuff's the bomb. There is a little natural salt in sazón completa, but I'm gonna add a little bit of my own. And I have a little bit of oil in the grill pan. Go ahead and start grilling up your steak. Let's take these jalapeno peppers that have been roasted. And remember, there are seeds inside that I would like to avoid for this sandwich. I'm gonna cut these in nice big strips, like so. So we're gonna press the sandwich after it's built. So let's go ahead and figure out about how big we want our steak sandwich to be. I always take the end off, and I'm not gonna make too big of one. I think we'll go to about there. All right, so go ahead and cut your sandwich in half, your bread, your Cuban bread. All right, so let's start building the sandwich on the bread. Kewpie mayonnaise. I'm pretty generous with it. I love it. Go ahead and add manchego. I'm adding it to the top. The jalapenos I'll place on the bottom. And there's one thing in the oven that I haven't told you about yet. I've hard roasted some sliced tomatoes. So we're going to use some of these hard roast sliced tomatoes that are really just meltingly soft on the inside of the bread as well. I basically just took beefsteak tomatoes, drizzled a little salt and pepper and olive oil on them, and threw them in the oven until they're really kind of crisp and golden dark. Okay, the steak is about where I want it to be. Lay that right on there. Take your onions, which are meltingly soft, and put them right on top of your steak. So, to press the sandwich, I'm just going to put a really small amount of butter down and keep the pan on a really, really low heat. I'm not going to put the lettuce or the chips in yet. Go ahead and press your sandwich a little bit. I think I'll start with the top side down first. I'm going to put a piece of paper, parchment paper, right on it and press with a cast iron pan. All we're doing is crisping up the bread, getting it nice and warm, and bringing some more freshness into the bread. Even though that bread was baked this morning, there's nothing like warming up a piece of bread for a sandwich. So let's see what that's like. So let's go ahead and flip that over. Ah, that's pretty. Lovely. Put the paper again, pan right over it, press it just a couple seconds. Talk about a steak sandwich of champions. So go ahead and take out your sandwich. Top it with, sorry Manchego, I know you're starting to melt, a little bit of the shredded iceberg. If you want, a little bit of the chips. Beautiful. And then cut right through. Oof, and there you have it. What I would call the Mac Daddy of pan con bistec or steak sandwiches. Come right back. I have two beautiful sandwiches coming up next. Yum.
SoFlo Taste will return right after this.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek. For information about JA World, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to my sandwich show. Veal parm. Who doesn't love a veal parm? Most people I know would go crazy over a good veal parm sandwich, so let's make a nice simple one. I've already breaded some veal. I don't like to pound veal too thin, so I like to keep it somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick. Flour, egg wash, and breadcrumb, but I wanted to show you the breadcrumb because this has grated Parmesan in it, so you will have a little bit of grated parm within the breadcrumbs. So get some blended oil. My favorite is actually peanut oil if you can eat it, and if not, grapeseed oil is perfectly fine. Go ahead and cook your parm. I actually call these milanesas, to be honest with you. This is the Argentine way. I'll cook 2 of them even though I'm only making 1 sandwich. All right, next, take a little bit of your favorite tomato sauce or one that you make that hopefully is in your freezer and spoon it down into a little pan that will go into the oven. Then we've got some sliced fresh mozzarella cheese. It's not buffalo. I feel like the buffalo mozzarella will just really melt a little too quickly. And then I wanted to throw some shavings of Parmesan into my veal parm. Get it? Lots of parm on purpose. I just wanted more and more parm. A lot of people use provolone to melt over their sandwiches. That is also delicious. The one little difference I'm making is that in that oven, I've got some garlic bread toasting up. So I've made a little bit of garlic butter with just some fresh minced garlic, parsley, and butter, and smothered 2 pieces of a larger, fatter baguette with that or butter, and now I'm toasting it in the oven so we can have delicious garlic toast for our parm. So a nice amount of shaved Parmesan. This is Reggiano Parmigiano. You can see it right here. The best parm you can get. Okay, when it turns nice and golden, flip it over. You really want to shake it. You want the oil to really just kind of encompass and engulf that piece of veal. Always have a little sheet with some paper towels on it to blot off the excess fat. This doesn't take a long time to cook at all. Go ahead and season it with a little bit of salt now while it's still hot. Flip it over and do the same. Go ahead and put your veal on the tomato sauce. Really get it in there. Top it with a couple slices of mozzarella. All right, let's let that melt in the oven. Let's take a look at our garlic bread. So there you have it. It's funny, you can make a whole huge dinner and all kinds of goodies, but the garlic bread is the one thing that people ooh and ah the most. So I thought, what could really make a veal parm stand out? A little bit of garlic bread. So let's put the bottom here, the top here. And we're gonna just watch for this mozzarella to barely melt. Come right back so we can see the melted mozzarella and learn a whole new sandwich that you're gonna love. Next. Want to have a great time enjoying amazing food, drinks, and entertainment? But of course you do. There are still tickets available for JA World Uncorked, a fabulous food festival that's held right here at JA World. And for craft beer lovers, Funky Buddha has released a new delicious libation named Dreamers of Dreams, a wine barrel aged saison that is amazing, and you can try it first at Uncorked. For tickets, go to jasouthflorida.org. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We are still celebrating the sandwich. Let's check out what our veal melting mozzarella looks like. And it looks pretty darn good to me. So we have our garlic bread right here. Let's go ahead and put our veal parm. You know what, I think I'm gonna put a little sauce first. Wow, this looks so good. And then the veal. Yeah. Delicious. And finally, a little bit of that sauce. Can't miss a thing. Right over the top. I would say this looks kind of delicious. So let's put these shards of parm over the top. All right. So let's cut that in half. See what that looks like. Oh, this is really good eating. All right, I'll put this over here. And wow, I'm excited about that one. And then lastly, I wanted to show you one of my personal sandwiches. The only thing is, it's got a few things going on, but you can pull it apart and use any of the delicious ingredients that I'm teaching you today and use them in any way you'd like to. This sandwich is a little more on the Asian side. I have a kimchi marinated chicken breast that I'm serving you with a gorgeous sauce that I use on all kinds of good stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about the marinade, and then I'm just gonna get cooking. So in this red marinade that smells like heaven, I have a little bit of kimchi, which you can buy the base of the kimchi, which you can kimchi vegetables in, a little ginger, Dijon mustard, fresh garlic, brown sugar. That's about it. You puree all that together, you marinate it. If you can, if you have the time to do it overnight, that would be best. So you can use chicken breast or chicken thigh. I've used chicken breast here. It's really up to you. These are chicken breasts that have been cut in half lengthwise. The next thing I'm going to teach you is the pickle. When you usually eat a banh mi, you might find these gorgeous pickles, carrots and daikon pickles. And this is a very traditional Japanese way to pickle. And these soon-to-be pickles have been spiralized. So you spiralized daikon and carrot with a little spiralizer, or you can cut them in any old way. Use a peeler like I did with the Parmesan. Really up to you. It gets a really quick pickle, which is a combination of sake, mirin, and rice wine vinegar. I'm going to go ahead and salt the carrot and the daikon before I pour over the hot liquid to quickly pickle it. I'm sitting the carrot and the daikon on ice so that it won't overcook the carrot daikon when I pickle it. This is really called a quick pickle. The sauce. I've made a little bit of a mixture of mayonnaise, a little bit of chili oil, some brown sugar, and soy sauce. Mix that up. Now, if I were you, if I would take anything today away with you, this would be it. This mayonnaise is so good on everything. You don't even have to like mayonnaise to like this, because it's sweet and salty and spicy all in one. It's just, it's so good on everything. So I'm going to leave that there. Lastly, I'm just going to slice some jalapenos and pick a little bit of cilantro for the top of the quote-unquote banh mi. I know that this is not a traditional banh mi, but I'm calling it a banh mi because of the pickle and because of the style and the flavors that I put in it. So some raw jalapeno gets sliced like in a traditional banh mi would. And I have a baguette in the oven crisping up a little bit. Let's see how it's doing. Oh, perfect. All right, and I'll put that right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish grilling the chicken, come right back so we can put all this beautiful stuff together and make miracles together. Welcome back to our sandwich show here at SoFlo Taste. So my chicken's done. I kind of broke them in half. These are beautiful chicken breasts from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market that have been marinating. I'm going to finish the pickled daikon and carrot. Just drizzle a little bit of the pickling liquid over the salted vegetables, which become cold right away because, like I said, they're just sitting in ice. And if you want it to go even faster, you can even throw a couple pieces of ice right inside the pickle to go even quicker. Just like so. And they're delicious. They're kind of sweet and tangy at the same time. And of course, I put that salt in there. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up our sandwich. So, like I said, I've got the jalapenos and the cilantro. There's one thing I didn't mention to you that I love. It's kind of, this is my happy crumble, I guess you could say. This is called furikake. And furikake is dried seaweed with sesame. I'm sure there's other stuff in there, but I never ask because I don't care. It's so yummy. It's a great topping. It's made to top rice, but I like it for everything. So let's go ahead and put my favorite mayonnaise topping of all time on the bread. I literally crave this mayonnaise. I don't know if it's the soy or the chili. I don't know what it is. It's so yummy. All right, let's get a couple pieces of the chicken. Really have to try this marinade. It's so yummy. Is it terrible that I like so much of what I make? Anyway, take some of the carrots and the daikon, squeeze out any excess, and go ahead and put it right on top of that chicken. Take fresh jalapenos. Let's put them on the slice of bread. Yes, it'll be a little bit spicy, so if you don't want it spicy, don't use them. And then finally, fresh cilantro with a bit of its sprig on it. And furikake covers the top ever so slightly. Be careful, it comes out really quickly. That's happened to me many times. And then we will cover our sandwich. And honestly, this one does not have to get cut. I'm just going to enjoy it just like this. Well, that's our SoFlo taste for another week. Thanks for coming along. The sandwich is a wonderful thing. So easy, so personal, so yummy and good. Now give some of these sandwiches a try and let me know what you think. We Americans eat more than 17 billion quarts of popcorn per year. Next week, I'll help you eat your share with some great popcorn recipes. Now let's check in on Martin Amado. Hi Martin, what's up on SoFlo Home Project?
Hi Michelle, take a look behind me. I'm on top of the world. Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we tour a luxury, award-winning apartment unit inside the tallest residential building south of Manhattan. It's called the Panorama, and it's right here in the heart of downtown Miami.
Thanks, Martin. We'll stay right here where we are. We love those design tours. So taste buds, have a good week, eat a sandwich, and I'll see you next time here on SoFlo Taste. Goodbye and good taste. You wish sandwich?